Whenever creating a presentation, you are sure to get spelling mistakes in it. No matter how thorough you can be, if there is any spelling mistakes left in the presentation, you can guarantee your audience will spot them on the first run through. Microsoft PowerPoint, as all the other Microsoft Office Suite software, has a powerful spell check. So let's have a look. The way PowerPoint is set up, similar to Word, is that it will spot spelling mistakes as you're going through the file. So here I am on slide 4, and you can see I've got a number of red squiggly lines. What PowerPoint telling me is that it's not quite sure of a spelling. Doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong, it's saying that PowerPoint doesn't know that word. In order to correct it, what I can do is I can just hover the mouse over it and right click. When I right click, what actually happens is we have a context sensitive menu come up, and it's given me a number of options. So for example, my home life, it's told me that it should be 2 words. So okay, I'm going to take that. There we go, my home life. Then I've got the name of my children, and when I right click on here, it gives me some suggestions. So this is other spellings of a similar name, and these are the names that it knows about. And I've got a choice. I can either change it to ignore all, and what that will do is throughout the entire presentation, every time it sees the spelling of Kira like that, it will say, yep, I'm happy with that spelling, and remove the red underline. That's great, but if I ever do more presentations and create new files, I actually want it to be part of a dictionary. So I'm going to choose this Add to Dictionary option. And now what it's done is every time PowerPoint comes across Kira with that spelling in any file on this computer, it is going to remember it. And I'm going to do the same for Neve. Add to Dictionary. So that's PowerPoint watching the spelling as I type. There's something to be aware of though. So here as I come down to my family pet, we have a mistake here, but PowerPoint spelling hasn't picked it up. We have 2 pets. Well, really it should be TWO, but PowerPoint won't pick up the grammatical error. So just be aware that spell check is all about the spelling, it's not necessarily about the grammar. Also be aware spell check will not be able to check the spelling in images and pictures that already exist. Now rather than having to go through each slide manually, what I can now do is I can now use the automatic spell check. And what PowerPoint will do is it will start from the slide I'm on, go all the way to the end, and then wrap around and start from the beginning again. So in the review tab up here, you can see I have the spelling up here. It also tells me that there's a shortcut of F7 that I could have pressed instead. What it's now done is it's gone through and it will go through all of the spelling that it's identified. It doesn't have children's, but it does have children's apostrophe, and I'm going to change it to children. And I've got a number of options. I can ignore it, or I can change it, or I can ignore all of it throughout the entire presentation, or change it all throughout the entire presentation. I'm just going to change it. Here we go. Useful double L. I'm going to change that. And this is from the film, so I'm going to actually ignore that. And it tells me the spelling check is complete. So spell check, very, very useful and powerful tool, something you should get into the habit of doing before you ever distribute a presentation, as there's nothing more embarrassing than when you're doing a presentation, put the slide up and you can guarantee you'll spot it as well as your audience.